Hey everyone, my name is Victoria and I'm the creator and host of American Born Hmong. I want to help our community build meaningful connections with one another through open discussions about who we are, what we want, and what our future holds. If you feel like continuing the conversation after today's episode, you can head over to our Facebook page, American Born Hmong, or you can leave us a voicemail. Just head over to our podcast homepage and leave me a voicemail there. If I find anything particularly interesting, I will share it in our next episode. And with that, let's listen to today's episode. You are listening to the very first episode of American Born Hmong, and I'm so excited to have you listening. I have to just let it be known that I did not plan to record this episode. I actually had a bunch of episodes lined up for this podcast launch, and they wiped out from my computer, completely gone. So I had to start from scratch, and I was in a kind of like a dark place for 1 second, and I thought I would record it and share that experience because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that has been in that spot. And this podcast is about our community and where we're going, but it's also about experiencing life and some of the struggles that make us human. So this is genuinely me reflecting on what is happening and a tip on how I dealt with it, and hopefully can help you too. So what I want to know if you have ever felt stuck and just did not know why. Like you knew logically the steps that you had to take in order to make things happen, but you just couldn't find the energy or the motivation to move forward. And no matter how much encouragement someone else gave you, or no matter how much you tried to hype yourself up and get excited and inspired about your ideas and dreams and goals in general about life, you just couldn't do it and you just stuck. Sometimes it lasts for a week, sometimes it lasts for a month, and sometimes it lasts for years. For me, this feeling has always been something that I struggled with constantly. I think that many of us can really relate to this feeling, and we struggle with it. In the search for my truth regarding who I am, what I want, and who I wanted to be, I realized that for me, it all boiled down to the fear of losing something. Fear of losing face, fear of losing time, fear of losing freedom. So, for example, this podcast has been in the making for about a year now, and I kept putting it off. And I couldn't find the excitement that I had at the beginning of the year. I knew it was a good thing, but it really crippled me. I had to do some deep soul searching, and I realized that what I was afraid of was the fear of losing time over imperfection. So basically, I really wanted people to listen, but I didn't know if I could pull it off perfectly or if anyone would even care to listen. And if no one listened, then I'd be wasting my time. And as a busy mom and wife and budding entrepreneur, time is something that I've come to be very mindful of and very mindful of how I use it. So whether you're a student, full-time parent, full-time employee with a bunch of side hustles, it can be mind-boggling and stressful when you're just trying to imagine balancing day-to-day tasks. So for the podcast, I was afraid of doing it wrong, and I don't even know what that even looks like or sounds like, to be honest. It was just a feeling. And so I was just so hung up on making sure it would be perfectly executed. I just kind of fell under this pressure that didn't even exist. So needless to say, the mind is a powerful thing. Something as simple as following your dreams could potentially turn into a nightmare because of the fear of losing. And that can be a sad and disappointing thing when you feel stuck. So here's my tip on how I win, and it may or may not work for you, but give it a try. When you start thinking about what might go wrong, interrupt that thought with something that will go right. This will work because now you realize it. You are conscious of your negative thoughts. If you have to visualize a physical trigger, for example, for me, I visualize Kevin Hart, the stand-up comedian, saying, "Hey, stop that." I'm a big stand-up comedy fan, so it also triggers my happy vibes. I definitely think you should try it. And don't just try it once, but try it over and over again to make it habitual. Now, I'm not telling you to lie to yourself. It's just a way to cope with the negative thoughts that kind of go down a rabbit hole. And if you haven't realized it yet, you need to realize it now. Those negative, pessimistic thoughts that you're having about losing have not happened yet. They're not real. But if you keep thinking about them, they're as real as it gets in your head. So you have to change them, and change them now. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. I really hope that you got something from this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.